Hello, my name is Reverend Charles Garnett Jr. Uh, I have lived in the Fredericksburg, Pennsylvania area for well over 20, 30 years. I just like to start to share my story about the great heritage that I had, and really, when I was younger, I never even knew it. It all started out that when we were children, my brother and my sister and I would go to my grandmother's house in Brooke County, Stafford, and we were just so excited. And basically, we would go there and run around in the yard, chase the chickens and everything, but really not knowing the great heritage that was there. And it was not until that I began to get older and begin to ask questions. Basically, when I became a much older man in my 20s, I would go into the parlor, as my grandmother would call it, and we would see all of these pictures of Confederate and Union soldiers and people that really didn't look the same color as I did. And my soon-to-be wife asked me a lot of questions, and I really didn't know the answer to them. So one day when we were coming up there, it was like a routine. My great-aunt Hannah and two white ladies were there, and they were all singing around the piano. And after that, the conversation and the two ladies had left, I asked my great-aunt Hannah, who were they? And my great-aunt Hannah told me that they were her cousins. And that right there confused me. And basically, my grandma Laura and my great-aunt Hannah sat me down and said that, Charles, let me clarify, let me tell you the story. And the story was that their grandmother, Nancy Ross, was purchased on a slave block in Fredericksburg, and by a gentleman by the name of Duff McDuff Green. And his intentions for her, Nancy Ross, was to make her his cook for wherever his plantation was. And basically, his son, Alexander Green, had taken a liking to her, and he took her and made her his, I guess, concubine or so-called wife. And then they got 20 acres of land up in Brooke County in Stafford, where my grandmother's grandmother, Nancy Ross, bore Alexander Green 9 children. 2 of them were still slaves. One of them was a Buffalo Soldier. One of them went to California, and I'm not sure about the whole recollection of the rest of them. But basically, she had explained to me that it was just the way that it was supposed to. It was, he could not marry her due to the fact that she was a slave, and it was just easier to make her his concubine, and that's how they lived. So, which was startling to me. But then after I looked at all of my great aunts and my grandmother, they looked all to me and my wife at that time. They were so light skinned that and their hair was all the way down their back, and but they were such a loving family, and they still considered the Greens family as their family also. So basically, that is what I have. They do still have the slave cemetery that's still in Brooke County, and that my wife and I and a few others, we take care of. And my, I guess his great aunt grandmother, Nancy Ross, has her headstone there, as well as some of her children, and I believe that is part of the history that we have. I mean, whether that we agree with it or not, whether that we like it or not, it is what it is. But one most important thing is that I look back at it as my ancestors, and I thank them for the perseverance, and I thank them for their stamina, which was placed into me. That and they would always tell me not to be a victim, but to always overcome anything, because we are really survivors.